In this video, I am going to discuss about limit gauges. So, what is the limit gauges? What is the importance of limit gauges in manufacturing industry, and what are the classification of limit gauges? See, limit gauges is not measuring gauges. They are not used for measurement and they will not give direct reading. They are just used as inspecting gauges. They are also called go and no go gauges. See, they are made to the limit of work to be measured. One of the end of gauge is made to maximum size and other end is made to minimum permissible size. The function of limit gauge is to determine whether the actual dimension of work are within or beyond the specified limit. So that's the function of a limit gauge which is used in the inspection purpose. Actually, limit gauges are not measuring gauges like a vernier caliper or a micrometer. It will not give direct reading. That's why it is not measuring gauges. It is inspection gauges. It is also called go and no go gauges. Limit gauges which is used to check whether the machined part is within or beyond the tolerance. That's the only purpose of a limit gauges. Okay. So purpose of limit gauge. Components are manufactured as per the specified tolerance limits such as upper limit and lower limit. The dimension of each component should be within upper and lower limit. If the dimensions are outside this limit, the component will be rejected. If any measuring instrument are used to check this dimension, the process consumes more time. If the amount of error in dimension is not important, it is just enough whether the size of the component is within prescribed limit or not. For this purpose, the limit gauges are used for inspecting components. So in the case of mass production, every part we have an upper limit and a lower limit. So the basic size that can vary within the permissible limit as we are following interchangeable manufacturing system. So in the case of mass production, there are hundreds of components and it is very difficult to check each component with a measuring instrument whether the component are within the tolerance or not. See, if the error has no importance, the importance is only the component should be within the limit. Then we can use gauges. So gauges that are not measuring gauges, limit gauges are inspection gauges. They will not give the direct measurement. They will check whether the part is within the upper and lower limit. Okay, so that's the importance of limit gauges in the case of mass production. So we have classification of limit gauges. Limit gauges are classified based on various criteria. First one, based on consistency in manufacturing and inspection. Limit gauges are classified into working gauges. These gauges are those used on the bench or machine in gauging work. Working gauges means that is used by the operator in a bench or a machine for working purpose. Second one is inspection gauges. These gauges are used by the inspection personnel to inspect the manufactured part when finished. So inspection gauges that is commonly used by quality control department after manufacturing the part and checking the part whether the part is within the tolerance. That's the purpose of inspection gauges. Then third one, reference or master gauge. These are used for checking the size or condition of other gauges and represent as exactly as possible the physical dimension of the product. So reference or master gauge means which is used to check the other gauges that is used in the industry. Okay. So these are the three classifications. That is first one, working gauge, inspection gauge, reference or master gauge based on consistency in manufacturing and inspection. So second classification, depending upon the elements to be checked by the gauge, hole gauge. It is used to check the dimension of the hole present in the element. So hole gauges are used to check the dimension of the hole. Second one, shaft gauge. Shaft gauge is used to check the dimension of the shaft. So hole gauge എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഹോളിന്റെ ഡയമെൻഷൻ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്. We are inspecting whether the hole is within the limit. Then second one is the shaft gauge. Shaft gauges which are used to check the dimensions of shaft in order to inspect whether the shaft are within the limit. Then third one, taper gauge. It is used to check the dimension of the taper. Then thread gauge. It is used to check the form of the inspecting elements. That means thread gauges are used to check the thread pitch. Okay, so these are the classification based upon the inspecting elements, that is hole gauge, shaft gauge, taper gauge and thread gauge. So according to the shape and purpose, gauges are classified into first one, plug gauge, second one, ring gauge, third one, snap gauge, fourth one, taper gauge, fifth one, thread gauge, sixth one, foam gauge, seventh one, thickness gauge or feeler gauge, eighth one, indicating gauge, ninth one, air operated gauge. And so these are the classification based upon the shape and purpose of the gauge. So we can discuss one by one. So plug gauges. See, plug gauges are used to check the hole. Plug gauges are used to check whether the hole are within the limit or not. See, plug gauges are usually straight cylindrical holes which have two ends, that is go end and no go end. They are hardened and grinded accurately and highly finished. See, these are the plug gauges. Plug gauges are cylindrical in shape which have a go end and no go end. The go end and no go end are hardened and accurately finished by grinding operation. See, one end of the go plug gauge is go end and another end of the plug gauge is no go end. Plug gauge ഒരു എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഗോയും മറ്റേ എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നോ ഗോ ആണ്. And plug gauges which are used to check the hole dimension. That's an important point. Plug gauges are used to check hole dimensions, whether the hole are within the limit or not. So go end that should be go through the hole, and no go end that should not be go through the hole. See, in the case of gauges, as per Taylor's principle, go end always represent maximum metal condition and no go end always represent minimum metal condition. Taylor's principle എന്താണെന്നത് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ക്ലാസ് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാം. So gauges are designed based upon the Taylor's principle. So according to Taylor's principle, see, go end should be designed based upon maximum metal condition. So here go end that is designed based on the maximum metal condition of the hole. Then go end size of go end is lower limit of hole. Then if the go end is not passed to the hole, what is the meaning is the hole is undersized. And according to Taylor's principle, no-go end is designed based on minimum metal condition. So in the case of hole, the minimum metal condition is upper limit of hole. So no-go end that should not be passed. If it will be passed through the hole, what is the condition is the hole is oversized. So that's the working principle of a plug gauge. So plug gauges that are commonly used to check the holes, whether the holes are within the limit or not. ഹോളിൻ്റെ സൈസ് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് കോമൺലി എന്ത് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, പ്ലഗ് ഗേജസ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. പ്ലഗ് ഗേജ് സിലിണ്ടറിക്കൽ ഷേപ്പാണ്. ഇറ്റ് ഹാവ് ടു എൻഡ്സ്, ഗോ എൻഡ് ആൻഡ് നോ ഗോ എൻഡ്. ബോത്ത് എൻഡ്സ് ആർ hardened, accurately finished through grinding operations. സോ പ്ലഗ് ഗേജ് ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ട് ഹോൾ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഗോ എൻഡ് ഹോളിലൂടെ കടന്നു പോകണം, നോ ഗോ എൻഡ് കടന്നു പോകാൻ പാടില്ല. സപ്പോസ് ഗോ എൻഡ് ഹോളിലൂടെ കടന്നു പോയില്ല എങ്കിൽ what's the meaning is the hole is undersized. No go end ഹോളിലൂടെ കടന്നു പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ what's the meaning is hole is oversized. Taylor's principle, gauge design main principle ആണ് Taylor's principle, that will be discussed in the next class. So according to Taylor's principle, go end is designed based on maximum metal condition and no go end is designed based on minimum metal condition. സോ ഗോ എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പ്ലഗ് ഗേജിൻ്റെ കേസിൽ ഹോളാണ് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, ഹോളിൻ്റെ മാക്സിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷനിലാണ് ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യുക. സോ ഗോ എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അപ്പർ ലിമിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഹോളാണ്. നോ ഗോ എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് മിനിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷനിലാണ് ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യുക. സോ ഹോളിൻ്റെ മിനിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ലോവർ ലിമിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഹോളാണ്. ദെൻ നോ ഗോ എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ലോവർ ലിമിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഹോളിലാണ് ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യുക. ഓക്കെ, സോ ഗോ എൻഡ് ഷുഡ് ബി ഗോ ത്രൂ ദ ഹോൾ. ഇഫ് ദ ഗോ എൻഡ് ഈസ് നോട്ട് ഗോയിങ് ത്രൂ ദ ഹോൾ, the meaning is the hole is undersized. And if the no-go end that is passing through the hole, the meaning is the hole is oversized. And the plug gauges that are commonly used to check the hole dimensions. Okay. Second one is ring gauges. Ring gauges are mainly used to checking the external diameter of a shaft. ഷാഫ്റ്റിൻ്റെ എക്സ്റ്റേണൽ ഡയമീറ്റർ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് റിംഗ് ഗേജസ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. The hole of the ring is accurately finished by grinding and lapping after hardening. The periphery of the ring is nailed to give more grip while handling the gauges. There are two ring gauges for a particular dimension, that is go ring gauge and no go ring gauge are made separately to check the shaft diameter. The hole of the go ring gauge is made to the upper limit size of the shaft and no go ring gauge is made lower limit. So this is the ring gauges. So ring gauges are commonly used for checking the external diameter of a shaft. ഒരു ഷാഫ്റ്റിൻ്റെ എക്സ്റ്റേണൽ ഡയമീറ്റർ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് റിംഗ് ഗേജസ് കോമൺലി എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ദർ ഇസ് സെപ്പറേറ്റ് go ring gauge and no go ring gauge for a particular dimension. So inside surface of the ring gauge, that is internal whole surface of the ring gauge, is highly finished accurately by lapping process. And external surface ring gauge consists a nailed surface for easy handling the gauges. So there are two separate gauges, no go gauge and go gauge, for checking the shaft dimension. So go gauges are always designed based upon the maximum metal condition according to Taylor's principle. So go gauge means maximum metal condition ആണ്. So maximum metal condition എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഷാഫ്റ്റിൻ്റെ upper limit ആണ്. So go gauge that is based upon the upper limit of shaft, and no go gauge that will be always based on minimum metal condition. Minimum metal condition of a shaft is minimum size of shaft. So no go gauge is minimum limit of shaft. Okay, so you have to remember that how we are designing a gauge. Gauge design ചെയ്യാനുള്ള പ്രിൻസിപ്പിളാണ് Taylor's principle എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. Taylor's principle അനുസരിച്ചിട്ട് ഗോ എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, ഒരു ഗേജിൻ്റെ ഗോ എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എല്ലായ്പ്പോഴും മാക്സിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ ആയിരിക്കും. അപ്പോൾ ഹോളിൻ്റെ മാക്സിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ലോവർ ലിമിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഹോളും ഷാഫ്റ്റിൻ്റെ മാക്സിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അപ്പർ ലിമിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഷാഫ്റ്റുമാണ്. നോ ഗോ എൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് മിനിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ ആയിരിക്കും, അതായത് ലീസ്റ്റ് മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ. സോ ഹോളിൻ്റെ ലീസ്റ്റ് മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അപ്പർ ലിമിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഹോളും ഷാഫ്റ്റിൻ്റെ ലീസ്റ്റ് മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ലോവർ ലിമിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഹോളും ആയിരിക്കും. ഓക്കെ, ഈ ഒരു പ്രിൻസിപ്പിൾ വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് ഗേജ് ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Third one is taper plug gauge. See, this is the figure of taper plug gauge. Taper plug gauge are used to check tapered holes. Tapered holes check ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് taper plug gauge use ചെയ്യുന്നത്. It has two check lines. That is, one is go line and another one is no go line. When checking a taper hole, the taper plug gauge is inserted into the hole and a slight pressure is exerted against it. So this is a taper plug gauge which is used to check a tapered hole which has two lines, a go line and a no go line. So when checking the hole, tapered hole with this taper plug gauge, initially inserting this taper plug gauge into the hole and a slight pressure is applied. See, the no-go line remains outside the hole and go line remains inside the hole. It indicates that taper angle is correct. If the taper angle is correct, the no-go line that will remains the outside the hole and go line that will remains inside the hole. Then the taper is correct. Okay, so that's the application of a taper plug gauge. So taper plug gauges are commonly used to check whether the tapered hole are within the limit or not. Next one is snap gauges. See, snap gauges that are a group of gauges which are used to check external dimension. They are also called gap gauges. So external dimension check ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് snap gauge use ചെയ്യുന്നത്. That's a group of gauges. There are different types. First one, double-ended snap gauges. See, this is the figure of double-ended snap gauges. This gauge has two ends in the form of anvil. The go anvil is made to the lower limit and no go anvil that is made in the upper limit. Sorry, this is upper limit. Go end is made to the upper limit and no go anvil is made to lower limit. ഇത് മാറിപ്പോയതാണ്. ഗോ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ എല്ലായ്പ്പോഴും അപ്പർ ലിമിറ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. ഗോ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ മാക്സിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷനാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു സ്നാപ്പ് ഗേജ് കോമൺലി യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് എക്സ്റ്റേണൽ ഡയമെൻഷൻസ് ഓഫ് ഷാഫ്റ്റ് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്. സോ ആ കണ്ടീഷൻ വരുന്ന സമയത്ത് മാക്സിമം മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അപ്പർ ലിമിറ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. അപ്പോൾ ഗോ എൻവിൽ ഈസ് മെയ്ഡ് ഇൻ ദ ഫോം ഓഫ് അപ്പർ ലിമിറ്റ് ആൻഡ് നോ ഗോ എൻവിൽ ഈസ് മെയ്ഡ് ടു ലോവർ ലിമിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഷാഫ്റ്റ്. നോ ഗോ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ലീസ്റ്റ് മെറ്റൽ കണ്ടീഷനിലാണ് ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So it is also known as solid snap gauge. So this is the double-ended snap gauge which have a go end and a no go end. Go end is based on upper limit, that is maximum metal condition, and no go end is based on minimum limit, that is least metal conditions, and which is used to check external dimension of shaft, etc. Next one is progressive snap gauge. See, this is a figure of progressive snap gauge. This type of gauges also called caliper gauges. Progressive snap gauge, it is also called caliper gauges. It is mainly used for checking large diameter up to 100 mm. Both go and no go anvil are at the same end. You can see both go and no go end are at the same end. Go anvil should be at the front and no go anvil at the rear end. See, this is the go anvil and this is the no go anvil. Okay, so this is used to check large diameter shaft up to 100 mm. Next classification of snap gauge is the adjustable snap gauge. See, adjustable snap gauge that is used to check large size shaft. It has one fixed end wheel and two small adjustable end wheel. See, adjustable snap gauge commonly used in the large size shaft check ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ്. It has one fixed end wheel and two adjustable end wheel. The distance between two end wheel is adjusted by adjusting the adjustable end wheel by means of set screw. This adjustment can be made with the help of slip gauges for specified limit of use. So this distance, that is the distance between the fixed end wheel and this adjustable end wheel, that can be adjusted, it is set by using slip gauges. Okay, and this adjustable snap gauge that are commonly used to large diameter shafts. The next one, plate type double-ended snap gauge. See, plate type double-ended snap gauge which are used for checking size from 2 mm to 100 mm plate thickness. See, this type of gauge is made of thin plate and has two ends. One is go and other is no go. So this type of plate that is made up of thin plate വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് ഈ plate type double-ended snap gauge manufacture ചെയ്യുക. It has two end, go end and no go end, and which is used for checking plate thickness 2 mm to 100 mm. Then next one is plate type single-ended progressive snap gauge. This is the last classification of snap gauge. Plate type single-ended progressive snap gauge. This type of gauge is also made of thin plate and it has only one end with both go and no go limit size. This type is used for size from 100 mm to 250 mm. 100 mm മുതൽ 250 mm വരെയുള്ള പ്ലേറ്റ് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് സ്നാപ്പ് ഗേജസ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. This type of gauge is made in the form of thin plate and has only one end. That end contain go and no go end. So this type of plate with contain only one end with both go and no go limits. Here this is the go and this is the no go. And these are the classification of snap gauges. Okay, so snap gauge which have different classifications, that is double-ended snap gauge, progressive snap gauge, adjustable snap gauge, plate type double-ended snap gauge, plate type progressive, plate type single-ended progressive snap gauge. So in this video discuss the limit gauges classification. We have few more classification that we can discuss in the next video. Okay.